Mouse, Book 1, Chapter 3. If you remember, in the past, they were heading off to war. Germany attacks Poland, and they go to war. I visited my father more often in order to get more information about his past. Oh, have some more green beans, Artie. Yeah, look, you don't eat anything. No, thanks. I've had enough. So finish at least what's on your plate. Okay. You know, Mala, when I was little, if I didn't eat everything Mom served, Pop and I would argue till I ran to my room crying. Oh, you should know better than to argue with your father. Mom would offer to cook something I liked better, but Pop just wanted to leave the leftover food around until I ate it. Sometimes he'd even save it to serve again and again until I'd eat it or starve. Yeah, so it has to be. Always you must eat what is on your plate. Oh, Vladek. Now stepping away from the text. We've all got connections here. You were growing up, you didn't eat your food, you'll be parents one of these days. I'm battling my picky children. But think for a minute. Why would this be extra important for Vladek? Why would he think it such a sin to waste food? You survive Auschwitz, where you are starving, where literally friends, even before Auschwitz, as you will see, food was very scarce and they were starving them in the ghettos. Another example of a common familial problem that is heightened because of the experience of the Holocaust. Fortunately for me, Mom would eventually feed me something I liked and throw away the old food when you weren't looking. Yeah, Anya, she's always too easy with you. Thanks for the dinner, Mala. It was delicious. The chicken I thought's too dry. Come, we'll talk better in the living room. Okay, let me get my notebook. Oh, I tell you, with Mala, I don't know what to do. Please, Pop, I'd rather not hear all that again. Tell me about 1939, when you were drafted. 39, yes. Okay. We were given army training for a few days, and then, by the start of September, we were on the frontier. We were all digged into trenches near a river. On the other side, it was Germans. It was everything quiet near the morning. Oh, wait. They only trained you for a few days before sending you into combat? Well, first, I went into the army for 18 months when I was 21. Then every 4 years, I went to Lublin for a month of training. Again, you know, you have this initial panel here where he's in the past, but notice how you have the panelist border, and it's almost like Art's body, who is on the floor writing, is halfway sticking into the past and halfway sticking into the present. It's, again, a visual clue. It's one way of, quote, literacy, of reading the text that lets us know that this is not just sort of past or present, that it's the two are converging, that they are telling the story in the present, but it's becoming real in the panels that we see. Really a great way of showing someone telling a story about the past. You know, my father tried to keep all his children out from the army, because when he was young, he had them to go into the Russian army, and there they took you 25 years to Siberia. My father pulled out 14 of his teeth to escape. If you missed 12 teeth, they let you go. So, when my brother Marcus got to 21 years, father put him on starvation diet. Always Marcus was so sickly, so thin. And when he went for the army examination, they didn't take him. A year later, when it came my turn, father wanted me to do the same thing. Oh, it was something terrible. 3 months before the examination, he started with me again. Panel is border of the present. Here we are in the past. It's confined, it's written, it's inside a panel. Wake up, Vladek. You're sleeping too much. Only 3 hours a night. So this is even younger Vladek, right before the army. Stop, Vladek. You mustn't eat so much. But I'm hungry. Okay, have one more herring. For 3 months, I ate only salted herring and no water to lose weight. And a few days before the exam, no sleep, no food. Good boy, just a little coffee. Only a gallon of coffee a day for my heart. Again, the assignment, the form of response is you're talking about how the story is told, how you're reading more than just the words. Words can count, but here's a perfect example. Look at these 3 panels. Technically, this is page 46, and technically, this is panels 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, 5. Now you see the words, but how are some other things? Look at facial expression. Look at the actual way the body is drawn. Look at his neck in panel 3, his neck in panel 4, his neck in panel 5. You can see it shrink. Not only that, you can see the hands, the clothes look bigger. But also, what about the little bubbles over his head? Why draw those? What is the literacy? How do you read the little bubbles over his head? What is that? It's a reflection of his mental state. He's woozy. He's weary because he doesn't have the strength because he's losing so much weight. The bubbles reflect sort of this bubbly, weakened state that his mind is in because his body is in this weakened state as well. Perfect example of facial expressions, body language, what's written in the background, and the words all working together to show us he's losing weight and it's affecting him. Not only through the words, but through the pictures, the losing of weight, the bubbles, all of this stimulus that tells us, and I'm interpreting it as he's bubbly, he's losing weight, right? Perfect example of what you're expected to do on the forum post. You're shooting for 5 sentences, simply recreate a couple of panels, talk about the page number of the panel, what it is, and what is being told. How are you reading it? And I'll continue to give you examples as I go. And then finally, we went to my medical exam. Oh, here's a healthy one. What? So we got the doctor, like, wait a minute. If the Polish soldier, like, oh, we need all the guys we can get. The doctor says, oh, no, there seems to be something wrong with him. Build yourself up for a year, young man, and we'll review your case again. The next year, father wanted I would again do the same thing, but I begged him and went in 1922 to the army. But let's get back to 39. You see how you mix me up? Okay, 39. We were on the frontier, digged into trenches by a river. It was quiet until morning. Then I heard shooting on both sides. Officer sneaked over to me. Dig in, you'll get killed. Your gun is cold. Why aren't you shooting? I didn't see what to shoot, but I dug in deeper and I shoot. The bullets came in my direction. I dug deeper in my trench, but I stopped to shoot. Why should I kill anyone? But when I looked at my gun, I saw 3. Again, perfect example, panel 3. Doesn't the panel shape tell a heck of a story here? It's how he's seeing the world through a sniper scope. And the tree was actually moving. I must be seeing things. How could that tree run? Well, if it moved, I had to shoot. It held up a hand to show it was hurt to surrender, but I kept shooting and shooting until finally the tree moving. Who knows? Otherwise, maybe he shot me. Only panel here that is horizontal. You got the vertical panels and the horizontal panel. Why? What is the story being told of the shape of the panel? Why is it horizontal? Well, it represents death. In all the other panels, the soldier was alive in vertical, upright, moving. Horizontal panel, reflective or resembling death. Literally the panel shape telling the story. After 2 hours of fighting the Nazis, they overcame to our side. Get up! Give me your gun! And you can see these are the cats, right? They're the Nazis. It's hot! You're shooting at us! So here we've got some irony here, right? When his side, when found the gun was cold, that's no good because you're not shooting. The other side finds the gun hot. Well, that's no good because you're shooting at us. My commander made me shoot. I only fired in the air. I answered in German. And his partner stopped him from beating me. Stepping away from the text, we're going to see this over and over. Ways in which Vladek survives, his intelligence, his ability to figure things out, and certainly his ability to speak and read many languages helps him. Continuing on. They marched me to where it was more soldiers, like me, more war prisoners. And all from us what weren't injured, they marched over to their side of the river to look for dead soldiers. Attention! All prisoners will carry out dead and wounded to the waiting Red Cross trucks. You, where do you think you're going? I thought I saw a body over by the river. I knew where the one I had been shooting was laying. Yes, here. Verbluten, his blood ran out. Carry him over to the trucks with the others. His name was Jan, and I knew that I killed him. I said to myself, at least I did something. They took us to a place near Nuremberg where it was many war prisoners. The Jews, they made to stand separate. It's all your fault, this war. We should hang you right here on the spot. Of course, nobody of us said a word. Put down all your valuables. He came up to me. I had maybe 300 zlotys. Why so much money, Jew? Many others had only 5 or 6 zlotys. Do you expect to do some business here? Show me your hands. You never worked a day in your life. Again, the long fingernails of the cat, the Nazi. The spotlight of the hands and what this means. Like you, Artie, my hands were always very delicate. Well, Jew, don't worry, we'll find work for you. Oh, and they did. Another German took 4 or 5 from us to a stable. See this mess? It better be spotless in 1 hour, understand? It's impossible to do in 1 hour. We really worked very hard, but an hour later. So? Not finished yet? This will cause you your soup, you lazy bastards. And somehow we did make the job in only an hour and a half, but look at what you do, Artie. What? You're dripping on the carpet cigarette ashes. You want it should be like a stable in here. Ooh, sorry, Pop. Yeah, clean it, yes? Otherwise I have to do it. Mama, she could let it sit like this for a weekend and never touch. And she knows how, with my sickness, it's hard for me to do such things. Okay, I'll clean it. Again, interesting relationship with Art, his father, the remarriage to Mala, and you can see how a lot of it is shaped by the past. So we lived and worked a few weeks in the stable until they took us to an even bigger prisoner of war camp. Ooh, the Polish prisoners get heated cabins, yeah. And we're just left to froze in these tents. It was terrible cold that autumn. All over Europe it was so freezing that birds fell from trees. To keep warm, we had only summer uniforms and thin blankets. At least they give us enough to eat. But the other prisoners get 2 meals a day. We Jews only get a crust of bread and a little soup. Good morning, Blodek. Where are you going? To bathe in the river. Have you gone crazy? I'll be clean and I'll feel warm all day by comparison. Many others got frostbite wounds. In the wounds was pus, and in the pus was lice. Every day I bathed and did gymnastics to keep strong, and every day we prayed. I was very religious. It wasn't else to do. Often we played chess to keep our minds busy and to make the time go. I had to set made from stones and breadcrumbs, and 1 time a week we could write letters through the International Red Cross. Dear Anya, I am fine, I miss you. Only in German, and very careful. And through it came package. Chocolate bars, cigarettes, jam. It was so treasuring for me, this package. Again, look at the background. It's almost like a shining bright light is thrust upon them because of this wonderful package that came through, represented in the way it's drawn. Again, panelist border, we know we're in the present. I had a sign my family was safe, and because I never smoked, I had cigarettes to trade for food. So, things went on like this for maybe 6 weeks, and then, look, another announcement. Workers needed. War prisoners may volunteer for labor assignments to replace German workers called to the front. Housing and abundant food will be supplied. Oh, it's a trick. Yeah, never volunteer. If we have to die, let's die here. No, I didn't agree. I'm not going to die here, and I won't die. I want to die, and I'm not going to die here. I want to be treated like a human being. And my comrades. So I was going. They too registered. We were right away sent to big German company. We were taken to nice wooden houses. We got soup, bread, a stove, real beds, with sheets and pillows. For a whole day, we only rested and got better our strength. It seems like years since I've felt warm in a bed, eh? Yeah, funny, isn't it? It's only a little over 2 months since we were drafted. I'm worried though, Vladek. Who knows what kind of work they'll give us? Doesn't matter. Anything is better than rotting in those tents. Yeah, I suppose. The next day we were given shovels and picks. Things which we'd never held in our hands before. And work was really very hard. We had to move mountains. The hills were maybe 3 or 4 yards high, and we had to make level. So, some complained. Those that were too old or too weak. I can't anymore. Worthless Jew. Again, lines of motion, representing the movement of the gun. The star representing the person being struck, his mental state. Very subtle, but all of these things tell a story. And in the next panel, we have the bubbles again, mirroring the bubbles of Vladek's mental state when he was on the starvation diet. And here we see the striking, the star, which might even reflect the pop when it hits him, and then his mental state of how he's woozy. Subtle, but it is all different ways of telling a story. If you're unhappy, go back to the POW camp. It's okay. We'll help when no one is looking. Yeah, we tried to help, but what do you think? Some went back to the tents to freeze and to starve. But what happened to them, I don't know. Still 80% stayed. There was enough to eat and warm bed. It was better to stay. Always I went to sleep exhausted. One night I had a dream. Don't worry, my child. It was a voice talking to me. I think it was my dead grandfather. It was so real, this voice. You will come out of this place free on the day of Borsch's trauma. Now, Borsch's trauma, it is not one of the words that I'm expecting you to know, but it is sort of an important Yiddish word. He's going to explain it, but this is going to become a very important religious date for Vladek. It provides him hope, which is so important. Back to the text. I woke up right away, and when I went to sleep again, Borsch's trauma. Yeah, so what is Parshas Truma? Each week on Saturday we read a section from the Torah. This is so-called a Parsha. And 1 week each year is a Parshas Truma. Before work, a few from us prayed. It was Rabbi there. One moment, Rabbi. When will we read Parshas Truma? Parshas Truma! In the middle of February, almost 3 months away. Why? 3 months? Oh, every day was like a year. I told him my dream. Let's hope it's true. I'm afraid we'll never get out of here. The dream, again, we're going to get back to this. We're going to get back to Parshas Truma, but it provides this man hope. There's a great story. I think it was Ken Kanban talking about being a POW. This was a Japanese war prison. Yeah, he was captured in World War II. And he talked about the essential quality of hope and how that is necessary to survive. I mean, we've got primary needs, right? Food, air, water. Hope is certainly one. He told a story, Mr. Kanban, that in his camp, a fellow POW had a dream that they were going to be rescued, that the U.S. military came in, and he looked at the calendar, and it was, let's say, June 15th. So for the next 4 months, this guy was on top of the world. Even though he was a POW, he was so certain this dream was going to come true. Well, June 15th came and went, and it didn't happen. Shortly thereafter, the man passed away. They didn't have any reasoning for it. According to Ken Kanban, the guy that wrote the book, I believe, said he died because he lost hope. Hope is so necessary, and it is hope that the Parshas Truma dream has given Vladek. So we worked day after day. We survived. Week after week the same, until one time, look, soldiers, it came very many Gestapo in Warm Rock. Attention! Line up on the road, in 2 rows, immediately. We were not at ease. We didn't know what they could do with us. Always I stood in the second line. Psst, Vladek. I didn't want them to see me. Someone sneaked next to me. Rabbi, do you know what today it is? Well, Saturday, of course. But do you know what Saturday? It's Parshas Truma. They marched us on the main courtyard and lined us up at alphabetical tables. Name and rank. Spiegelman, Vladek, Corporal. Destination upon release. Sostoik. This the Germans did very good. To my wife and child I want to go. Always, they did everything very systematic, and so it was all done in 1 day. Very well. Sign the release form. You mean your Parshas Truma dream actually came true? Yeah. This for me is very important date. I checked later on calendar, and it was this Parsha on the week I got married to Anya. And this was the Parsha in 1948 after the war, on the week you were born. And so it came to be that this Parsha you sang on the Saturday of your bar mitzvah. The next morning, each from us got the Red Cross package, and they looked us on the train to Poland. During the journey, I sat with Rabbi. So, my son, now I see you are Roha Hanoid, one who will see the future. Yeah, but this train seems to be passing Sosnowiec. When they didn't stop the train, I became very worried. You see, the Nazis divided Poland into pieces, the Protectorate on the right, a guarded border in between. The train went completely past my part of Poland, the Reich, and stopped only in the Protectorate. Those with papers for Krakow, out. And when it stopped in Warsaw, the rabbi got out. I'll write to you. But I never heard again from him. It came such a misery in Warsaw, almost none survived. And the train was long, way past Sosnowiec. They took me up very far, maybe 300 miles, until we came to Lublin. There we unloaded all of us from the Reich. In Lublin, they took us to big tents, and there we sat. Eventually came people to see us from Jewish authorities. Why are we being kept here? It's a very bad situation. Just before you arrived, there was another group of released war prisoners. 2 days ago, the Nazis marched them to a forest, and they shot them all. 600 people. We were the next party. Yeah, but I thought you were released as part of a prisoner of war. Yeah, exactly so. International laws protected us a little as Polish war prisoners, but a Jew of the right, anyone could kill in the streets. I was very frightened. Then we heard something to give us a little hope. We bribed the Germans to release prisoners into the homes of local Jews, who will claim you as your relatives. My name's Spiegelman. There's a friend of the family named Obach in Lublin. I met him when I was here in the army training. Fine. We'll get you registered as his cousin. At night, I went out from the tent. I had to urinate. I ran quick inside, and a guard began shooting, and I thought all night different things, what could happen to us. Then, as soon as it was light, Spiegelman! Vladek! Orbach, am I glad to see you? And then in 10 minutes I was free. Orbach was a friend of my uncle. He had 2 beautiful daughters my age. I'm sorry we can't offer you a better meal, Vladek, but the Jews of Lublin get very few food coupons. One moment, girls, I have a gift for you. Oh my God, chocolate! These I saved from the Red Cross package. Always I save, just in case. Again, look at the background. shining light reflecting their inner thought process. They're so excited. Eventually, when I came again to Salzburg, we sent them food packages. We were for a little while better off, and then they wrote back, happy how it's helped save them. Then they wrote that the Germans were keeping the packages, and then they stopped to write, finished. With Orbach, I stayed a few days, recuperating, but I was restless. How could I manage to sneak across the border to my family? Trains were still going from the Protectorate to the right, only one needed legal papers, of course, and this I didn't have. But anyway, I went on the train in the direction I wanted. I approached the train man, a Pole. May I talk to you for a moment? Sure, soldier. If you notice, look at the mask, right? Many times you can pass as Polish and not Jewish. Now we're going to see this with Anya. She had more Jewish features, and it harder for her to pretend to be something else. Easier for Vladek. He didn't have as many Jewish features, and we see the mask that he's wearing as though he's sort of masking himself. He says, "You're a Pole like me, so I can trust you. Those stinking Nazis had me in a war prisoner. I just escaped." The Poles were very bitter on the Germans, so it was good to speak bad of them. I'm trying to get to Snowswick, back to my family. Don't worry, when we get to the border, hide in here. And so the men helped me come back to the side of Poland. I walked first over to my parents' house. I thought I might never see again. It's Vladek! My son, thank God you are safe. In spite of everything, you look healthy. I'm strong, Mother, but you look sick. Oh, it's because I was worried. But it wasn't only this. She was sick of the cancer. And a month or two later, she died. She never knew how terrible everything would soon be. And Father, your beard, what happened? You shaved it off. Oh, it's growing back now. It was always religious, so like a rabbi. And of course, he always had a big beard. In September, the German soldiers grabbed many Jews in the street. They made us sing prayers while they laughed and beat us. And before letting us go, they cut off our beards. Boy, the humiliations, you know. And now the demons have taken my seltzer factory. Oh, enough. I must bring Vladek home to Anya before curfew. At 7 o'clock, it was a rule. All Jews had to be out of their homes and in their homes and lights out. For my parents to Sosnowiec was only a short ride. Go in and say you just got a letter from me, saying I'd be home in a week. I stood at the door listening. Oh, don't joke. If Vladek was coming home, he would have written, "Surprise! Oh my God." And again, the spotlight, right? Nothing else matters. They are together. Even the tear. I grabbed my son. He was 2.5. Rishu. He started screaming. Why do you cry, my boy? I am your father. The buttons, your metal buttons, Daddy, they're cold. And I don't need to tell you how big the joy was in our house. Even though everything was very tough, and it was really very tough, we were happy only to be together. Not so like it is now with me and Mala. I tell you, if Anya could be alive now, it would be everything different with me. Mama makes me crazy. She only thinks about money, always my will. Please, Pop. You always tell me the same thing. There's nothing I can do. But I haven't whom else to talk to, and it's for you. I watch my money. Geez, let's talk about it next time. I'll call you. Besides, it's getting late, and I better get home before curfew. Hey, where's my coat? I know I put it in here. Mala, did you put my coat someplace? No, are you going? I'll make you some coffee. No, thanks, I'm not thirsty, and you make the worst coffee I've ever tasted. Oh, but I still have that bag of espresso you left here. That was over 6 months ago. That coffee's completely stale. So maybe some tea. No, thanks, just my coat. Hey, Dad, have you seen my coat? Yeah, I threw it out. What? Are you kidding? Give it back. It's too late. You were sitting down for first dinner. I threw it outside. By now the garbage men take away. The enigma of Vladek. Seems like the last thing he would do, since this man goes around and collects wires and things from places, because obviously when you are stripped of everything in Auschwitz and you have nothing, everything has value. So you see him valuing food and other things, but why the coat? This seems out of place. Well, here we go. Such a shabby coat. It's a shame my son would wear such a coat, but I like it. I have for you a warmer one I got from Alexander's, a new jacket, and I give you my old one. It's still like new. Here, try on. Great. A Naugahyde windbreaker, and it's too big. Oh, it looks like $1 million. Look, Dad, you can't do this to me. I'm over 30 years old. I choose my own clothes. After you wear it a little, you'll see how good it works. Come, I'll walk you downstairs. So don't forget, Darty, you call me this week and we can talk. You really threw out my coat. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. So although Vladek is certainly changed by the war and values everything, because again, when you're in Auschwitz, you have nothing, so everything has value. But it is also important, the reputation, the presentation, to go out in the world and to know that that is my son and he needs to look appropriate. a way of showing his love, but he's a complex character, Vladik, and the older I get, the more I enjoy the father-son story. I know students often love the World War II story, and we're going to get into that more once we get to Chapter 4 of the Noose Titans. All right, guys, that was Chapter 3, Mouse 1.